right, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Carrie. Carrie was doing an advanced project communicating on television, and her role was to be the host and interview a guest. Now, on television, when you interview a guest, there are actually two objectives. One is to convey information to the viewers about what the guest's expertise are, and then the second is actually to usually promote something that the guest is selling. And in fact, you met both of those objectives, because you informed us about what Pat was talking about in her book, and then you also allowed her to promote the book by giving information about an upcoming event, about where they can buy the book, about an upcoming audio book, and all that great information. So as far as a show of this type, you really did an outstanding job of all that. Now, the various criteria are very different from a normal speech, and there are a number of challenges that the Toastmaster must surmount in order to be successful in this, and I think you did an outstanding job overall. Preparation, did you do your homework? I've seen interviewers who haven't read the book, and it becomes obvious from their questions, but you clearly had read the book. You had picked out a passage. You also had information about, were you asking about other sections of the book regarding other invisible type of relatives? So kudos for that. One thing you did particularly well was in structuring your questions. When asking a question, you want it to be as open-ended as possible. If you ask a closed-ended question where the answer is just a word or two, then it just starts to die. Your opening question, tell me about how you first understood this, and it led to another problem that has to be surmounted, and that's when your guest starts going off. And what you did really well is you waited for her to take a breath, and then you jumped in with another question. That was very well executed, because if you hadn't done that, I think she would have gone on, because the end of the Toastmaster, she was really revving up. And after that, there got to be a much better pace of things. So as an interviewer, you really did an outstanding job of directing the flow of that, and that's what you have to do sometimes. Just jump in at the right time. You don't want to be interrupting them, but again, you waited till she had finished her thought, had taken a breath, and then, tell me more. That was very well done. Now, just a couple of suggestions. In the introduction, it was a little bit halting, and I think it would have been a little more effective to have practiced that a little bit more, and ideally just kind of given it like you were introducing her as to a friend or something. And then likewise, in reading the excerpt from the book, again, that was a very well-chosen one. It was just the right amount of time, but you stumbled a little bit in the reading. Again, just a little bit more practice would have made that go much more smoothly. But overall, your appearance was very professional and appropriate. You had great eye contact, both with the guest and with the viewing audience. That's another very challenging thing with this project. So overall, you just did an incredible job on this project, and have inspired me to try it again. I was nowhere near as good when I did it. Mr. Toastmaster.